All right. Welcome back to another episode of Hacks and Hobbies. And today we have an incredibly insightful guest, Matt Raad, who has redefined what it means to create financial freedom. Starting from scratch, Matt and his wife Liz developed a unique approach by building a high cash flow portfolio through the buying, renovating, and selling of digital assets, specifically websites. Now, as somebody who's been in the web development space for so long, this was a this was really an awesome opening for me, and I'm like, what? People are actually doing this. So, without further ado, Matt, it's a pleasure to have you on the show, man.
G'day, Junaid. Thanks for having me on. Definitely a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. You're flipping websites for profits, which is kind of mind blowing. It's almost like digital real estate because people, you put so
Yep.
much time and energy into a website, but then if you don't keep up, the quality of it's going to die down. And it's really interesting how you've come around to creating this business opportunity for people.
Yeah, it's exactly like you said. It is just like flipping real estate. So we come
Hmm.
along, we find the rundown properties, we give them a bit of a cleanup, bit of a renovation,
Yeah.
and then a refresh, and then we just hold them for the cash flow, or we resell them for a higher price. And yeah, we love it. I mean, it comes from our background of buying and selling bricks and mortar businesses as well. That's
Mm,
where we actually started this
yeah,
when
yeah.
Liz and I first started going out. We loved business, and so we've always bought and sold businesses. But yeah, when we realized we could do it online, that was a game changer for us.
Especially with a lot less, legwork too, right?
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Like you can probably hear from my accent, we're Australian,
Yeah.
we're not in America, but most of our businesses that we're buying and selling are in America because they're websites. So
Mm,
it's exactly like you said. In the old days, with bricks and mortar business, we'd have to go and visit the businesses.
yeah.
We used to buy businesses in out of industrial areas, and it was a
Mm.
lot of work. These days, we can literally do it in our pajamas, working at home, late at night or early in the morning. Normally, it's early in the
Yeah.
morning because that's the
Yeah.
time zone with America. And
Yeah.
but even you just do things what things happen while you're asleep. That's the best thing. And there's no
That's amazing.
borders. We can do it. We can buy websites in any country. So absolutely love it.
Now, Matt, before we dive into the nitty gritty of website investing, could you share a bit about your background and how you transitioned from a zoologist to a digital asset investor? Now, you did mention something around buying and selling real estates, but let's get a little bit of background on you.
Yeah, so Liz and I grew up in the country in rural Australia, and we actually met at uni studying zoology. So we were
Mm,
experts on red kangaroos, which are the iconic
nice.
kangaroo. And the reason why that's an important part of the story is because it's just totally useless if you want to be wealthy. And that so I came from a poor background, and I always
Mm,
wanted to be an entrepreneur. And Liz wanted, because we both grew up in the country, we wanted freedom and working in zoology, you're going to be typically working for the government or something
yeah.
like that. And, that was never going to cut it for us. And I said to Liz, well, I've always wanted to own a business. Let's do this. And so with the help of friends and family, we bought a small manufacturing business, which we could run from the country. And because we outsourced all the manufacturing side,
Mm-hmm.
and we figured out how to build that up. And we loved it so much that we got that so well systemized that we only had to work 6 months a year, and that's from out in the country. So we realized, well, let's buy more. Let's just start
Mm,
buying them up, renovating them, and own this portfolio of businesses. And I make it sound easy, but on that first business, Junaid, we made every mistake under the sun. We were
of course.
totally so naive. We relied on the advice of an accountant who got it completely wrong. When we did the due diligence, it looked good. As soon as we bought it, it's probably the classic story. We suddenly realized, oh, this thing's going bankrupt. So
Mm,
what the hell are we going to do now? Our backs are up against the wall, and we just figured out how to turn around a business real quick. And
yeah.
ever since then, that's pretty much our SOP, our standard operating procedure. We got really good at helping clients turn around businesses really quickly
Mm-hmm.
because we also got into M&A. We were buying and selling websites for high net worths as well. So that's how we also accelerated our education. So we spent 15 odd years, maybe 20 years, kind of refining the business model that we're always looking for the perfect business model where you could run
Yeah.
semi-passively and own multiple businesses. That's always been our goal from day one. And also we're constantly learning, how do you do proper due diligence? How do you buy the good businesses? And what are the main levers that you use to pull to turn around a business quickly? And when I say
Yeah.
quickly, I mean like within 12 to 18 months.
Sure.
That's typically how long it takes to prep a bricks and mortar business to sell it for a high price.
Mm.
And moving forward to now, everything we'd learned and watching our mentors who are really successful at, very high net worth individuals. And we realized we could do what they're doing at a much smaller scale without the amount of capital that they had with
Mm-hmm.
websites,
Mm-hmm.
because you can
Yeah.
buy a website, a really, really good website, for under $50,000. So we were used to buying
Wow.
bricks and mortar businesses for 6 and 7 figures, hundreds of
Mm-hmm.
thousands or millions of dollars. But
Yeah.
all of a sudden, we realized, oh, we can work from home, raise our kids, buy multiple businesses with what we consider relatively low risk compared to spending 6 and 7 figures on a bricks and mortar business.
Mm-hmm.
And we can just have a crack at this, and we can buy multiple websites. You can buy big or small. You can buy websites for 6 and 7 figures, and we've done that.
Sure.
But our preference is, even to this day, we can buy whatever size website we want. But I still just love the buzz of buying a website under 50 grand, fixing it up, and accelerating it, and
Wow.
owning a portfolio of those. So for us, it was like a dream come true, literally a dream come true, after all those years of what we'd done with bricks and mortar, to suddenly just find it so much easier and quicker online. And as you know, Junaid, with online businesses, luckily there's some really, really cool levers you can pull to
Mm-hmm.
fix up websites. And that's the bit where we suddenly dialed in this idea, well, let's renovate these things and see what we can
Yeah.
do.
Now, what drew you into the digital assets? I mean, you did mention that it was a lower cost in getting in, less
Yeah.
walk-in, a lot less upfront money too, right? So, talk to me about like
Yep.
what drew you into like who were some of the mentors that you found along the way of buying real businesses to then go to digital assets?
Well, we kind of figured it out ourselves, because when we
Okay.
started doing this, we bought our first websites in 2008, just when the Great Recession was on, and there weren't even website brokers back then. No one was really doing it, and we were
Mm,
just, we were looking around, and really what happened was Liz actually learned, first of all, in the old days, you'll appreciate this, how to hand code a website. So she
nice.
built a website, because we
Yeah.
were looking at this internet space for years and
Mm-hmm.
thinking, how do we get in there? Because it's just the technical side. We knew nothing about computers and how to build things. So Liz
Yeah.
is way more technical than me. I'm hopeless at the technical side.
Sure.
She just figured out how to build a website. She did courses back then, and
Mm-hmm.
I think she built her first website with a program called Dreamweaver.
Mm-hmm. I
And
remember that
uh,
one. Oh my God.
yeah, pretty tough going. And she got this simple site going. She's selling an ebook in the crafting niche, and she got
Mm-hmm.
it to making about $5,000 a month
Nice.
net profit, which is pretty cool. But it was such hard work. One day she just said to me, "Hey Matt, why are we building these? Why don't we just do what we've always done? We've got to be able to buy them somewhere. Let's
Yeah.
buy them." So she started hunting around, and we were really good at buying bricks and mortar businesses by doing what we call a private approach. So we
Mm-hmm.
literally used to go out into industrial areas and door knock, and then send
Yeah.
letters and stuff like that. So we just did the same online, except we're sending emails to
Mm,
American business website owners saying, "Hey, we're cash buyers. Do you want to sell your website? We like the niche you're in. Would you be
yeah.
interested in chatting to us?" And then we'd get on. In those days, it was Skype, and we'd chat to them and we'd do
Yeah.
a deal. But our first website we found on eBay, because we didn't know where to look. So we bought our first website off eBay, which I would not recommend
Nice.
doing today.
Right.
But just bizarre. And
Yeah.
the first question Liz said to the seller was, why are you selling your website on eBay? And
Yeah.
he laughed and said, why are you looking to buy on eBay? Where the hell do you sell these?
Where that's
He
supposed to
had,
go, right?
yeah, yeah. No one
Nice.
knew where to do it. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that was our start into it. And to answer your question too, what drew us to digital businesses, we realized very quickly because of our background's buying and selling manufacturing businesses, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we're used to exporting, and it's really tough exporting from
Yeah. Yeah.
Australia to America, which we did, and we were good at it. But all of a sudden, there was none of that. There's no paperwork. There's no sticking products in a container and sending over the
Yeah.
sea and stuff. Literally, when we bought that first website, the next day, we're in America. You know,
Mm.
the world's best country for doing this, like 300 odd million people.
Yeah.
Um, Literally, we went to bed, woke up in the morning, and there's money in the bank account. And we spoke to no one. And that was just mind blowing to us. It's like, what? What? This is pretty much passive,
Yeah.
or didn't have to deal with people or anything like that. So I should mention
Yeah.
at this point, if you're listening to this, the sorts of sites that we buy don't involve physical inventory because of our background in manufacturing. So we just buy advertising websites or affiliate sites and we get referral commissions. So literally, Junaid, that
Yeah.
first site, in the first week, it was making $1,000 a month. It's just this
Mm-hmm.
little site we bought for 20 grand US. And because Liz knew how to fix things up, we realized most of the traffic, it was a site that the guy had he'd built it up. He didn't really care much about it. He just wanted the 20 grand.
Sure.
We realized most of the traffic was going to an internal page that there was no offer on there. There was no offer for our main affiliate offer. So literally Liz just copied the affiliate offer onto that page and a really good call to action. And it went from 1,000 a month to 3,000 a month in 1 week.
There you go.
So we were going, this is awesome. So for 20 grand, we're making 3 grand a month. And we later on sold that site for 6 figures to a corporate.
Sure.
So, and we just went, right, we're going to buy 5 more of these. So 3 grand a month, it's not bad income. So, and in the
No, no,
GFC, it
no.
was easy because people were panic selling, well, just wanted the cash, So recessions are
Don't want to
really,
cash.
really
Yeah.
good times to do this because cash
Yeah.
flow is king. And that's what our mentors always taught us. Cash flow is king. So we suddenly realized we've discovered the holy grail for us of the ultimate cash flow businesses. So we're
Mm.
pretty darn happy within that first month.
Dude, that's really powerful because as you're talking about cash flow is king, it's reminding me of the game Cash Flow by Robert Kiyosaki. It's a board game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you played it, right?
We used to
And
play it back then. Yeah.
right, once you're out of the circle,
Yep.
once you're out of the rat race,
Yeah.
you're buying businesses that are bringing you cash
Yep.
flow. So that makes total sense to buy businesses that is bringing you positive cash flow. Because otherwise your money's just sitting in the bank doing nothing. But if you can buy a
Yep.
$20,000 website that's bringing you more cash flow, and you can do some tweaks to increase that cash flow, well, hallelujah,
Yep.
love
And
that.
and you just mentioned something, Junaid. If for some reason you're listening to this and you haven't read the book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, you should. It is like I've got a
Yes.
lot of business experience, over 30 years of business experience. To
Mm-hmm.
this day, I still read that book once a year, just kind of look
Yeah.
over it. And it's still one of the most practical, conceptual books around business.
Yeah.
And that book helped us set this goal for finding those sorts of businesses, like you just mentioned. Remember in those days, Junaid, Robert used to mention, Robert Kiyosaki used to talk about the power of buying like car washes
Mm-hmm.
or
Like
what do you
boring
call them?
businesses, right?
Yeah, boring businesses. Yeah, what do you call
Yeah.
them? The ones with the washing machines in them. So that you can
Yeah. The
put someone in to run
laundromats.
them, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
laundromats. That's it. And that we thought that would be the way to go, but then we were buying manufacturing and wholesale import businesses, which are quite leveraged, but they're
Yeah.
very, very challenging because of the physical inventory. So it's
Yeah.
like a noose around your neck, having that all your money tied up in a warehouse. So I don't recommend you do that. And that
Mm-hmm.
goes for online businesses too. If you're a beginner, I wouldn't do e-commerce sites at first because they're complex. You can get stuck with the stock. But when we
Right.
discovered these advertising and affiliate sites or these passion sites, we suddenly realized this is exactly what Robert Kiyosaki was talking about in Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's a lot
Mm-hmm.
easier. You know, the same
Dude,
sort of thing as a laundromat though, or a car wash.
you're so right because the equipment that's in your business is providing a service. You're not
Yep.
selling physical products. You're not waiting for shipment to come in and to go out.
No.
No, the only thing you probably have to stock up on is probably, especially for car wash and laundromats, just the detergent or whatever, right?
Yeah. And the
But
staff to run it, the team to
and
run
the
it.
staff to run it,
And
right?
and and for websites, that's very minimal.
That's
You know,
very minimal. You're
to
you're so
even
right.
on six-figure portfolios, we've got clients who run some big sites and they don't really, it's a very simple structure. You just need a couple of writers, a couple of editors, and typically
Yeah,
one tech, and they don't even have to be full time. Just
yeah.
hire them on Upwork. So the teams are really small as well. So that's awesome.
Absolutely love that. Now, can you give us a little example of how you renovate a website and what type of changes or improvements lead to increased
Yep.
value and cash flow? I mean, you did kind of give us a hint of what you guys did for that first website, but you know, I'm sure nobody caught that.
Okay, so yeah, that's true. I've got to remember, if you're listening to this, you probably, this is all, might be all new to you. I'll share. There's two really good examples from our community that I think are very powerful, and one
Mm,
of them is a very simple one. Is father and son team, Dave and Connor. They're in America. Dave's made his wealth through buying commercial real estate, and so he's used to, owning big commercial properties, and he was telling me he gets like a 8% return or whatever. So
mm-hmm.
he learned off us how to do this, and he went out and bought a pet blog. It's literally just about pets, and it makes money. Now, the owner had run this thing for, you know, 10, 15 years, whatever. So,
Mm,
so the guy was passionate about pets. He starts blogging about how to look after pets,
yeah,
and it got so much traffic that you put ads on it, Google ads, and when people click on them, you get money in your bank account. It's all automated, all that side, the
yeah,
advertising. You don't have to talk to anyone. You've just got to provide good content on there. So it's kind of like
mm-hmm.
an online billboard, and
Yeah,
it's just people looking up information around pets. So people are passionate about it, and these are the typical sorts of sites that we love buying.
yeah.
Now, this site, he paid $1 million for that, which sounds a
Holy,
lot, but yeah, but hear me
wow.
out. This is a big
Mm-hmm.
site.
Yeah, yeah.
He was making $300,000 a year net. That's net profit. So
Wow.
you bought it on what's called a 3 times multiple. So I'm kind of giving a lesson in how all this works, right? As
Mm-hmm,
well.
mm-hmm.
Now that sounds great. So he's making, so for him that's mind blowing, because for $1 million, you think what you get in commercial real estate for $1 million. So all of a sudden he's got, talk about high cash flow. He's got $300,000. But and it, you don't have to talk to anyone. It's
Sure.
just this old site that people are passionate about. But the main lever that he pulled in that particular business is not to
Mm-hmm.
get the traffic up, because the traffic was already up in the millions. So what we did was he changed the advertising network. So you imagine the previous
Mm-hmm.
owner is pretty happy. Semi-passively for 15
Sure.
years, he's been
Yeah.
earning 300 grand, then sells out for $1 million.
Yeah.
Win-win, right? So that
Win-win.
guy's
Yeah.
happy. But Dave comes along and goes, how can I improve this? I'll just change the advertising network and get paid more for these ads and
Mm,
optimize them for conversions and get even better conversions as well. So they're
yeah.
two of the key levers that we pull. So we look to put the prices up and get more, when those millions of people visit the website, we want more of them clicking on the ads. So he just went to what's called an ad network, who manage all the ads. They do all this for you on your website. And it went from $300,000 a year. It literally doubled to $600,000 a year just with that one
Wow.
change. That is mind blowing. So
So he's
now on a
basically
three
make his
times
money back.
multiple,
Yeah.
well, it's actually once, because it was making so much money,
Okay.
the multiple goes up if you were to sell it. So it'd go to a four
Mm,
times multiple. So it'd be worth around 2.5 mil. So out of, for not a lot of it. Now this is,
mm.
results not typical, all that
It's
sort of
an
stuff.
outlier, right? It's an outlier.
It's an outlier
Yeah.
because it was such a well-established website, and the previous owner had done very well with it. He was very comfortable just making that 300 grand. But also the other lever that you can pull, it's mind-blowing. So you literally get, in this day and age, so when that owner started that website, that option wasn't out there. Now
Mm,
there's these ad managers, like they're called Mediavine or uh, AdThrive or Raptive. You can look them up, or
sure.
Zoic. There's a whole range of them, and depending on the size of the site, some are better than others. But the
Mm-hmm.
point is, these services exist now, and basically they get an arbitrage, they get a percentage. But
Yeah.
that 600 grand is net. That's net profit to Dave. So
That's
pretty
amazing.
mind blowing. And then, so I mentioned there, you're saying, how do you renovate these sites? So
Mm-hmm.
the key lesson out of that is buy well, get a one that's well established and that's got these renovation opportunities. And we look
Yeah.
for ways that can we put a better monetization on the website, which is often a lot easier. There's a lot of really good affiliate offers out there now that you
Mm-hmm.
can put in
Mm-hmm.
that pay a lot higher, or we improve the conversions of what's existing selling on the website. And then, Junaid, you'll love this one. This is a little bit more advanced, but the best, and we think the best long-term renovation strategy that you can do for a website is improve the traffic. So there's three key things. So we improve
Mm-hmm.
profitability, conversions, and then the final one is traffic, which does take more time to build up.
Of course. Yeah.
But improving traffic is very, very powerful because that's actually creating an actual asset. Like it makes the website a lot more valuable long term, potentially to big buyers. And a
Mm-hmm.
great example of that is, I love this. They're coaches with us now, actually. We have a lovely, amazing couple called Nathan and Alexa, and they were traditionally real estate investors. They're younger. When you're younger, he's an electrician. What happens when you're a real estate investor? Same in America, you max out with the banks. You can only buy one or two properties. So you
Yeah.
heard us talking about, just go for cash flow. If you want to get rich in business, you need cash flow.
Yeah.
We don't want to be beholden to banks. So they got into this idea of buying and selling websites, and they've done this multiple times. They own a portfolio, and they got so good at it that they became laptop lifestylers. They lived all around the world. And why that's important is because one of the sites they bought was on gardening. So they buy passion sites. So they own a crochet site, a
Mm-hmm.
cheese making site. They know
Mm-hmm.
nothing about these topics at all.
Sure.
They're living in Thailand or whatever. They found this site here in Australia, actually. They were just doing some outreach work and they noticed a guy here in Australia, this gardening site in Australia hadn't been touched in years. There's no new posts on it. So that's a really good signal. And
Mm-hmm.
so they approached, sent him an email and said, do you want to sell? He said, yeah, I don't make any money off the site. I've done nothing with it. $400. So they bought this thing for $400. And it's mind blowing the main thing they did, because they already owned a website in the gardening niche. They just knew
Mm-hmm.
what content to put on there to build it up.
Yeah.
This is a 10-year plus site, had a good following. It just had a really good foundation. It just needed a refresh
Yeah.
and some constant work on building up the traffic. So they added content. That was their main strategy. So they used SEO, search engine optimization, but basically they added more content for gardeners.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't write it themselves. They just hired two experts off Upwork. They found them easily.
Yeah.
And as we're now in spring here in Australia, as we record this, that site now is the traffic's gone to over 80,000 visitors a month. So think about that. That's
Wow.
80,000 people, eyeballs on this little gardening site that cost them
That's
400
amazing.
bucks. And all they do is they make money off affiliate offers and ads. And that thing now makes $4,000 a month. $4,000. That is just
That's
mind blowing from
amazing.
a 400, again, results not typical, all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But what that shows is the power of this knowledge. And their main renovation was the traffic side. So,
Mm.
and they did improve the monetization. They put new
Yeah.
offers on and things like that. I guess they
Yeah.
did all three of the levers. Now, that wasn't a get rich quick thing. If you listen to this,
No.
that took
I
them a
mean,
couple of
you
years to
gotta
get to
have the
that.
experience, right? You gotta have, and they did have that
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
And they own other sites. They do this full time.
Right.
They own other sites. That's just one of their sites, but it's just a fantastic example from $400 to $4,000 a month. And they're the sort of golden sites we want. That's where the real
Mm.
opportunities, if you're listening to this, is once you know what you're doing, is finding
Yeah.
these perfectly good assets, sifting through what's for sale out there and recognizing, we call it the diamonds in the rough. What are the ones that other people are overlooking? What's the
Yeah.
actual, once you know how to value a website, you can see value in websites that others don't or don't realize, even off the broker sites. We have clients that have bought absolutely mind-blowingly good websites that no
Yeah.
one else noticed, but just because they got out there and had a chat to the seller and realized, oh, this
Mm.
person's really passionate about the topic, they've actually created a real site, which is even
Mm.
more important in this day and age of AI. Real
Yes.
sites are highly valuable now. So that is an
100%.
asset in and of itself, is
Yeah.
just how real the site is and the following that it's got.
This is so powerful, Matt. Thank you so much for sharing. Especially the fact around the niches that are really people are bringing the passion, people are And it goes
Yeah,
to show, like, hey, what websites, like, for listeners interested, they're like, hey, what website do I buy? And you're giving the examples right here. Gardening site, you
yeah,
got a pet site, you've got a site that are helping you cook food. Like, all of these things are going to be evergreen content, like literally evergreen content,
totally.
because as
Yep,
people are coming into the new world, in the world, and it's something I tell people all the time, there's going to be new students every single year. That's why colleges are around. There's going to be new
yep.
people coming in. There's 300,000 newborn babies every single year,
Oh, it
right?
That's such a
It's
good niche. Yeah. I was just thinking, Junaid, I just love the name of your podcast, Hacks and Hobbies.
Yeah,
You know,
thank you.
if you're listening to this, you're in the right place. Everything that you learn here and just getting this is all very creative. It's just about
Yeah,
ideas. And I think
it
listening
is.
to your podcast, like Hacks and Hobbies, you get so many, like, look how many episodes you've got.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're listening to this, go through Junaid's podcast list. Sorry, giving your podcast a plug here, but that's where
Thank
we
you.
get ideas from looking at a podcast like yours because it's called
Yeah.
Hacks and Hobbies. Okay, they're precisely the sites we want to buy. So
Mm-hmm.
who's making money out of what niche on here? And it's
Yeah.
something you said, Junaid. That's one of the key things we learned in buying websites. it there's a lot to due diligence, right? You've got to learn how to do it, but one of the key things is people don't look at the market, and that evergreen, that's one of our golden rules. Is the market
Yeah.
evergreen?
You
Yeah, like
gotta have it.
cooking, gardening, pets, getting healthy. We call it the big three:
Mm-hmm.
healthy, wealthy, happy. So anything in those sorts of niches. So how to get healthier, how to get wealthier, or how to be happy. And happy is like, passion things like how to play golf,
Mm.
uh, how to play guitar, how to, all those classic things that people don't realize just how big these niches can be. Photography. Oh, I can't tell you how many times we've worked with people with seven-figure photography websites or learning
Wow.
how to play guitar. Mind blowing. So one of our clients right now owns a guitar site, and when he came to us, he's making about $4,000 a month off it, just teaching people how to play jazz guitar.
Mm-hmm.
He's now a coach with us, Greg. Beautiful guy.
Yeah.
He's fixed that up, worked on, because he's got because it's so real, because it's him, and he's really good at jazz guitar. So
Mm-hmm.
we've shown him how to fix that up and renovate that site. Now he
Nice.
makes 10,000 to 20,000 a month off that site. He does 20,000 launches off that now. And that's just working from home here in Australia. Most of his audience is in America. And that's out of literally a passion.
Matt, I
He's very
am.
passionate about guitar. He never thought he would make money off his skills as a guitar teacher,
Yeah.
20 years ago or whatever, when he not that sort of money anyway.
Yeah.
So working from home, raising his family, pretty mind blowing.
What's amazing with what you're sharing here, and it's actually giving me goosebumps, like as you're sharing the guitar story, it's giving me goosebumps
Cool.
because if you think about it, like
Awesome.
the 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 through line through all of these things that you're mentioning, they're all skill based training, right?
True. Yeah, yeah.
They're all
Absolutely.
skills. You're teaching
Yep.
these skills that are ever
Oh, I
growing.
like that.
300,000 new
Yep.
people coming into the world.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
5 years from now, they're going to be, going to kindergarten. What skills can you
Yep.
teach kindergartners? What skills can you teach new parents? Like,
Yeah.
it's mind blowing, like how that is an ever growing circle of life.
I so if you listen to this, I think Junaid's just hit something on the head. Even I'm writing that down. Here I am. I teach this, been coaching people in it, since 2010. You're right. When you break it down, I'm just thinking through my head some of the best niches that we've seen. They are
Yeah.
skills-based training. So if you're listening to this and you've got a skill, it can be in anything. So I'm just thinking of you, Junaid, with your
Mm-hmm.
technical skills,
Yeah.
as we both know, that is hugely popular online now. Like, look how many courses, even, how many courses are there out there
Yeah.
about how to set up for a podcast, say,
Mm-hmm.
or any skill you want. They
Yeah.
typically, so if you're listening to this, when it comes to selling information products, the best ones that Liz and I love, and we've bought all sorts of websites,
Mm-hmm.
to this day, the best ones that we love are ones that sell courses on how to train people, and
Yeah.
particularly in the passion niche. So, like how to play golf, but we've owned multiple golf sites. We don't play
Mm-hmm.
golf. Liz does now. And
Sure.
finally, she got into it after owning, being in that niche. But so you don't have to be experts even, but ideally, if you are an expert in a skills based, like if you're good at cooking, you could teach
Mm-hmm.
courses on how to cook go niche. Always go
Yeah.
niche within the niche. So like Greg, he's a really good example, Junaid. He doesn't just play guitar.
Mm.
His site is all about jazz guitar. So it's
Like
not just,
specifically jazz guitar. Oh,
yeah, yeah. So and
that's
if you're into
wonderful.
cooking, it would be, we've seen some really successful seven-figure websites around cooking, like paleo
Mm-hmm.
or vegan. So we've got a client, that Lucy, who's also now a coach with all our most successful clients become coaches with.
Of
She had a
course.
little tiny vegan website, and you know what
Mm-hmm.
she did? Again, you're right, skills
Yeah.
based. You know how she
Skills
really
based.
made the money off that site?
Yeah.
Teaching other people how to be a vegan chef.
Yeah.
That was literally the course. And she had hardly any traffic because it was quite a
Yeah.
small site, but she made $5,000 a month off that net. Just, she had this simple little course that she didn't write. She hired someone off Upwork to help her write it. She found an expert in a vegan chef to write the course. She paid them 4 grand. I think this was many years ago.
Sure.
But then that's what the initial cost was. And then she sold a course on how to become a vegan chef. And she made, yeah, she got that to making around 3 to 5 grand a month
Yeah.
consistently.
That's such a great segue into. So I have 4 kids, right? And each one of these
Yep.
kids have different allergies, right? One has wheat allergies,
Ooh,
gluten, one has egg allergies, one has,
nice. Yep. Good
can't have
niches.
this. So there's like all these combinations. And then guess what my
Yep.
wife is doing? She's looking up
What?
these recipes and she's modifying them
Yeah.
for our family. And I've been telling
Yep.
her, dude, we can totally do a site that talks about, hey, you have kids with multiple allergies. Here's the perfect food that
Totally.
everybody can enjoy. Like, okay,
Yep. So
that's something there.
that, that's a brilliant model online, is subscription style models. That
Mm-hmm.
you, do you want to know something, Janae? They are the, when it, so our fascination when we were back in M&A, like mergers and
Mm-hmm.
acquisitions, was working with the really big end buyers. So these are private equity firms or ultra
Yeah.
high net worths who literally just pay millions of dollars cash for good businesses. And online, the big end of town, the big buyers, guess what? They're all buying up now. Anything with recurring revenues, subscription
Yeah.
model type revenues. That's where the
Yeah.
money is. And you listen to anyone, probably it's on your podcast, and if you listen to any business podcast, it's all about getting those recurring revenues. Any business for that matter with recurring revenues is highly valuable to the big buyers, particularly if they're simple. And the good thing with internet businesses is it's very simple. So you imagine
Mm-hmm.
you could explain in less than 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
to a private equity firm, hey, I own an online business that has a subscription model for people, for parents with kids with allergies. And we run a series of courses. Like it's just a very simple course. And we show them how to create recipes, and the meal plans and what they should be doing to help their child with very specific food allergies. And we
Yeah.
charge them $49 a month. And here's how much money we make. And yeah, to go bigger, we just need to reach a bigger audience. So that's why you, Mr. Private Equity Firm, might be interested in buying us out for a 4 or 5
Mm-hmm.
times multiple. And that's the conversations that are going
Wow.
on. Actually, can
That's
I
amazing.
share a really good real
Yeah, of
example of it?
course. Yeah. Yeah.
Cole, he was on our podcast. He's in America. He did this with photography. So he just
Mm-hmm.
set up a simple photography site. Again, he outsourced. He didn't write the course himself, but he was a photographer. He'd made money in photography, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a real passion niche. He taught people how to make money out of being a photographer. He literally sold a $49 course, and he sold that within 3 years for $10 million, which is mind blowing. That's an exceptional result.
Wow.
But so that that what blew me away when I spoke to him about that was it was such a simple business model. It was literally just
Mm-hmm.
$49 a month subscription. And he had obviously a lot of people on there. He was turning over 7 figures,
Mm-hmm.
and he grew that very quickly. Relative, well, compared to bricks and mortar, within three
Sure.
years, got it
Yeah.
to 7 figures, and then just took the money. Someone came along and offered him a big paycheck, and
Yeah.
he went, "Yep," because
Because
purely because it was recurring revenues. If he'd just
and
sold
that's
one-off
the cash flow you
advertising
were
on there,
talking about, right?
that's it. Yeah, yeah. If it just been ad revenue, it probably wouldn't have sold for as much. But because it was
Sure.
recurring revenues, so if you're listening to this, I guess the lesson is, get ideas off, hacks and hobbies, and look what people are making money out of and think, well,
Yeah.
can I turn that into a subscription model somehow? Just start
Mm-hmm.
looking around and seeing if you're interested in a certain passion. I'll guarantee you, Junaid, in that niche, there are already people making good money off
Mm-hmm.
subscription models. I mean, we're
Yeah.
we're signed up for some. Liz is on some really good. She's not vegetarian,
Sure.
but in order to get healthy, there's some good vegetarian sites out there now. And I know she's signed up for one. I think it's like $20 a month. It's not
Mm-hmm.
much, just to get some good recipes, some alternative ideas. Because we grew up on farms, we normally eat meat and stuff like that. So she's
Yeah. Yeah.
decided, oh, well, we should try some vegetarian dishes. And she's paying $20 a month to be on these subscriptions.
And that's
And those sorts
perfect.
of things, those sites will be worth probably millions.
And it's not even that much, right? For a normal one person, it's not that
No.
$20, $50, not that
Yeah.
much. But then they're
Yep.
getting
50
the
bucks.
value, and then you just multiply by
Yep.
hundreds and thousands of people that are getting that same value, and boom,
So that
you got an ROI.
that's the leverage of the internet. That's what when we got on,
Mm,
and I want to take a minute here. If you're listening to this, you got to realize that's why the internet is so amazing for business. Bricks and mortar land, Liz and I are stuck here in Australia. We can only speak to a very small amount of people in manufacturing, right?
yeah,
As soon as you get online, 24/7 access to a worldwide audience. All of a sudden now we can go really, really niche with, say, we did have a vegetarian cookbook subscription site. Well, we've got access to the whole world now. There's no
yeah,
more barriers. So it's that's the leverage of the internet. Coming back to at the beginning of this webinar when you say why were you so drawn to online businesses, I think that was the main thing for us. It was 24/7, no barriers, and access to this massive worldwide audience with no barriers whatsoever, except for our smarts in our head. Obviously, you've got to
yes.
figure out how to get to them,
You
but
gotta
there are
get to
no
them. Yeah,
more no physical barriers to reaching 300 million people in America. So mind blowing.
amazing, mind
Or
blowing, Matt.
Europe if you want to go there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's the world is the oyster, right? For
Yep.
somebody online, you can have different language sites as well, and then you're serving the different parts of the world. Again, English is a much simpler language, but with the advent of AI, you could probably translate all of your
Oh,
content to other
yep.
languages pretty swiftly.
Yep. Yeah.
Now,
AI is just a whole nother topic, but
it's a whole
that's
nother
so much
topic.
fun. Yep.
Now, we're gonna go to the last segment before we go into the three
Yep.
practical hacks. So, uh, if you were to give one piece of advice for someone looking to achieve financial freedom through digital assets, what would it be? And we've talked about so many different
Yep.
ways that they can achieve that. What's the one thing that's your favorite? That anybody looking to get started can get started.
Learn how to build a website. Going back to the foundations. I think it's such a powerful skill in this day and age. It's a lot
Yeah,
easier. You can just learn on WordPress. It's definitely a foundational skill.
yeah,
And I'll throw in another one. If you're interested in specifically what I've been talking about today, like Liz and I do, and all our clients do, buying and selling websites, the next step on top of that, which goes hand in hand with it, is learn how to do website due diligence. That's a very specific skill in itself, but it's a huge money making skill.
I love it.
Understanding and finding these diamonds in the rough, that's gold. That'll make, especially, that'll make you money for the rest of your life. So learning how to do website due diligence, mind
I
blowing.
love it, Matt. I can't wait to jump into this because I'm like have so much skill around website
Yeah.
development. Why am I not using it? So, thank you
Yeah.
so much for the inspiration, the ideas that I can't wait to put all of these into motion. Let's go to our next segment. We did the intro, we did the deep dive into where you come from, how you got into it, and we just had so much fun conversing about this because there's so much layered knowledge between the two of us around the internet and
Yeah.
around what these things
Yeah.
can do. Now, we always love leaving our listeners with actionable advice, and you've given a ton. Could you share three practical hacks for those interested in building a high cash flow digital asset portfolio? And before you even say anything, I want to ask, what's the minimum? And you've mentioned different numbers like they bought a site for $400, now it makes $4,000. Or somebody bought a
Yep.
site for $1 million, now he's selling it for
Yep.
2.5 million. So what's the roundabout number that somebody could think about uh,
Gotcha.
when they jump into this?
So, so the three things in our course that we have a golden rule, and it's a really, really good question you asked. What's the number? We suggest if you're interested in what we've been talking about today, don't go out there and buy a big website like a $10,000 website or a $50,000 website or definitely not a $100,000 website because you don't know what you're doing. That would
Mm-hmm.
be silly. You've got to learn some things first. And what we suggest is start out small. You can actually buy what's called starter websites. That's even enough. They're not going to be perfect, but you can buy a
Mm-hmm.
website for under $1,000 to learn this stuff on. And so that way you can smash it, you can break it. It's not going to hurt you. If you can't afford $1,000, you probably shouldn't be doing this anyway.
Sure.
So because this is not a no money down type deal here.
Mm-hmm.
These are businesses. So what we recommend is stay safe because this is a new skill for most people. It's a significant skill. Just buy a small website under 1,000 and then gently step it up. Then your next site you might buy under 5,000, then the next site under 10,000, and just
Mm-hmm.
keep it like that. And dedicate time to learn this. So step number two, the step number one is making sure you're starting out small, commit to buying something under $1,000 to learn on. Step
Mm-hmm.
number two, well, it should actually be the other way around. It should be step number one is make sure you learn how to do all this. This is
Yeah.
a skill for the future. You know, if you're interested in this and you've come this far in a podcast, presumably you're interested in learning how to do it. That knowledge is king in this day and age. And you've got to learn. It took Liz and I, 30 odd years to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah.
You know, this is like I said in the earlier part, there are two key skills you want to learn is how websites work, how to build one. And don't worry, it's not that technical these days, but in particular, you want to learn how to do website due diligence. And that's probably my main thing. And of course, I've got to, step number three, if you want to do that, I'll give a plug for our own courses, but
Of
do
course.
our free masterclass gives you a good overview of, you don't have to do our course or anything like that. You can go and
Mm-hmm.
buy a practice site under $1,000 without having to do our course, but
Yeah.
check out our free masterclass where we go through actual examples of the sorts of sites you can. There's, we show the websites that we bought and why we bought them, how we valued them, and how we do the due diligence. So that kind of starts your journey if you're interested in this stuff of buying and selling websites.
I love that, especially the part about due diligence and learning like how does this even work? It's not it's
Yeah,
basically like when you're buying a car, you're not gonna go spend and buy a very expensive car. No, you're gonna start with something simple,
small.
start learning to
Yep,
drive a car first, and then you're gonna spend more money. Same with
yep,
bicycles, right? Anybody who's starting to uh get into cycling, you'll go to Walmart, buy that 300 to $150 bike, and
yep.
somebody who's a cyclist like myself, like, don't buy that stuff. But it makes sense for them, for somebody starting out,
Yeah,
because I know people that are spending $10,000 on a bicycle because they know
yeah, not
exactly what it's going to do for them.
yeah.
It's
Yep.
mind blowing,
Yeah.
right?
So
So,
that's I think that's our golden rule is stay safe, be smart,
yeah,
because
yeah,
we've seen over the years people make mistakes with buying businesses. And that's a problem with bricks and mortar businesses, I believe, and also
yeah,
e-commerce business or businesses with physical inventory. If you're a beginner, they're tricky and
yeah,
you
they
go and
are.
people tend to go too big too quick. So they hear all these amazing stories of, you can literally go onto a website broker right now, and there's hundreds of websites for sale right this minute that make $10,000 a month net.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for most people, that would be meaning they're quitting their jobs, but we
Sure.
don't recommend you buy those because you don't
Yeah,
know what you're doing. You don't know how to run them. You got to learn how to run these websites first. So, for goodness sake, start out small. It's not a get rich quick thing. This thing takes time to learn this stuff, um,
absolutely.
but it's worth it. It's definitely worth
Yeah.
it.
You're right on the money, my friend. Thank you so much, Matt. And what's cool is there's so many solutions out there. Like there's GoDaddy, there's so many hosting sites that'll give you space to test out your stuff. That's where you
Yeah.
learn how to
Yep.
build the sites,
Yep.
and then you can think, okay, this is how all the things work. You gotta figure out the whole flow of where's the traffic coming from, like what all it what all this stuff is that like the language of the internet, right? You understand that language, you have the terminologies down, then you can be like, okay, now. And I think your free masterclass is a perfect starting point for anybody
Good.
looking to get into this.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Awesome, Junaid. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Now, before we let you go, I've got fun six
Ooh,
questions right at the end of the
ooh.
show.
Okay,
So number
go
one,
for
what's the one hobby that you wish you got into?
it. I don't know whether I want to admit this publicly, but gaming. It just
Oh
takes too
yeah.
much time, though. I know that
Yes, it
that
does.
sounds, yeah, it's funny. I get to this point, and you know why? Because we've seen so many good gaming websites for sale
There's
over
so
the
many gaming
years,
sites. Yeah.
and that's the one niche which when we don't want to go into because we're not experts. So
Sure.
I do wish I'd gotten more into gaming when I was younger, but please don't think that's a recommendation to get into gaming because you need
Of
so
course.
much time. And I look at my friends who are gamers, and
Yeah.
they're typically, yeah, they're good in business and they're good technically. Um, and I keep saying you should be buying websites in the gaming niche. Oh man, there's so much money in that, but you got to keep it real and you got to be good at it.
No.
So that's my
100%. You got to be
one
good at it.
nerdy regret.
I love it. Well, what's cool is like I mentioned earlier, I have 4 kids. I'll be teaching them all of this stuff. Like, hey,
Yep,
we
good.
gotta learn how to do due diligence. We gotta learn how to do this. We gotta do all these things so that we can
And you
build
got to you
ridiculous.
got to become really good at Minecraft or something
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
actually,
So,
two of my kids are really good at Minecraft. They're constantly
all right,
playing
yeah,
that
same as
stuff.
my
So
kids. Yeah,
right. So, but
yep,
I mean, I used to play games when I was getting old, when I was growing up, but I just haven't had the time to do that
yeah,
anymore.
need the time. Yeah.
All right, next up, what did you want to be when you were a child?
Ah, I wanted to be a vet or a farmer,
Hmm.
but then uh, underlie with that, I actually always wanted to own my own business. But because I come
Sure.
from a family where I didn't know any business people, I just
Sure.
thought, well, that means being a farmer or a vet, and that's what I thought would be
Because that's
my
kind of
business.
yeah, that's kind of like
Living
in
out in
the
the
same like being
country,
a farmer is kind of like owning a business, but then you're doing all the
yeah,
work and
yeah,
yeah, makes sense.
yeah.
I
But
like it. All right, next up, what is your favorite movie or TV show?
that's easy. Pumping Iron with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the doco.
Oh
So I know it's
man,
old now, but that changed my life, and I still watch that once a year. So
I
it
I
just,
love it.
I really
So
like that.
you're
That I
you're
mean, that's a
watching,
documentary,
yeah,
but there's
yeah.
really good lessons in that Pumping Iron. So it's a documentary about the rise of Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the 70s. So
I read
it's my
his
favorite.
book that just came out. I don't know if you've it's
Yeah,
called
be useful.
Be
Yeah,
Useful. So
it's
powerful.
awesome.
I love the book.
Yeah.
He narrates the entire book and I'm like, wow, this is so much fun listening to Arnold
Well,
tell the story
the
around his
reason I love Arnie and I've learned so much off him is he
yeah.
came to America with nothing, literally a gym
Yes.
bag, and then
Yes, he did.
created his vision just by goal setting. And
He's
we literally teach that. That's how Liz and I have changed our lives completely. It's just we've been heavily inspired by Arnold, and we're really big on goal setting and setting our vision and everything. It's like what happened for Arnie; it comes true. So if you don't
nice.
do it, the world's just gonna pass you by. But by
Yeah.
setting goals, and we learnt that off Arnold Schwarzenegger. You
I
start with
love that.
nothing, and with the power of your mind, change your life, and that's what we've done very effectively. So that's definitely my favorite
I love
movie
it,
or
man. Thank you. I
documentary.
can't
Go and
wait to
check it
go
out.
check it out because I have not seen it. I've just read the books and followed
It's
along
on
his movie life, but this is
it's
going to
on
be fun to
Netflix
watch.
now. Pumping
Okay.
Iron, the documentary. Yeah,
Perfect. Perfect. I got some homework to do.
there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right,
It's
next
good.
question. What movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
Can I say Pumping Iron again? No. Uh, oh brother, where art thou? That's another
Oh,
favorite film. It's
brother,
about
where
a
art
journey.
thou?
Yeah, yeah, and I like George Clooney in that film, but I just like the story. The
Yeah,
journey that they go across. It's set in America in in the 30s. Yeah,
yeah,
that would be cool to be part of that journey. The three of them, traveling across America,
yeah. No,
having adventures and seeking their treasure,
that was a
seeking their
really good movie. Yeah. one of them that I really like, and you've probably seen this, but it's the Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, yeah.
Have
Yeah.
you seen the movie The Greatest Showman?
I have with it, but and it's more our kids and Liz absolutely love that film. Yeah.
Because as an entrepreneur, I saw myself in it
Yep.
because of the
Yeah.
struggles
T.
that he
Barnum.
went through, right?
Yep.
As somebody who didn't grow up in a in a big family, and then he just learned how to
Yeah.
be a good salesperson
Yep.
and a marketer. I think
Yep.
that was pretty powerful.
And that is actually that's so important. Yeah, that's actually a cool that's another one actually. But yes, that's a good journey. That's the thing we've learned.
Yeah,
Got to be good at sales in any business.
yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Next up, who is your favorite superhero?
Favorite super. I mean, yeah, it's got to be Superman, doesn't it? Yeah,
Doesn't have to
the
be, but he is one of the popular
yeah,
choices so far.
yeah, Superman and Man of Steel and can
Man of
fly.
Steel. That's right.
All that sort of it. I think ever since a kid, I've admired Superman.
And now we're flying using the internet everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. Reaching lots of people. See,
Yeah, that's
at the
amazing.
speed of light,
At the
literally.
speed of light,
You go.
literally. All right, man.
Yeah,
Next and last question. If you are a board game, what would it be?
Monopoly.
Nice.
Got to be
It's
Monopoly. I played
it's
it
a
so much when I was a kid,
yeah.
and still love playing it. And
You learn
it's
all the
yeah, it's
basics
a
of cash flow in it, right? You own all these
that's it.
properties and you're getting cash.
Totally.
Cash
And you're
flow is the
renting them
name of the
out, see?
game.
And you're adding value to them and you get more money. And and you want to own as many as possible. And I think that's what playing so much Monopoly. And it's interesting. Liz played a lot of Monopoly as a kid as well.
Yeah,
It's always stuck in our mind. Owning that portfolio work. So yeah, Janae, definitely Monopoly.
I love it. Well, Matt, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really loved the conversation. We had a lot of fun, like always. And your knowledge on your wealth of knowledge on website investing, your journey from zoology to building a digital asset empire, incredibly inspiring. Before we close, is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners, especially those looking to dip into their toes into inside, website investing, and obviously where to connect with you?
Yeah, just check out our free masterclass on ebusinessinstitute.com.au. It is an Australian site. We have a lot of American members though, but just check out the free masterclass. Maybe go and look at some of the success stories of our clients as well. They're all on that website. It's a good
Beautiful.
spot just to start. And the other bit of advice is seriously, it's just if you're interested, buy a small little site under $1,000 and just start practicing with it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
Have
much,
fun
Matt,
too.
again.
It's very
Yeah,
creative.
gotta have fun, gotta be creative, gotta
Yep.
stay on top of all of it. Well, thank you again for coming in, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome, Junaid. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Now, for those tuning in, this was a fun conversation. If this conversation resonated with you and you'd like to explore opportunities to work together, if you're interested in connecting with more like minded individuals, feel free to reach out to me, connect with Matt Raad, and I'd love to, until next time, just keep learning. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm always here to introduce you to other people and the community. Until next time, keep learning, growing, and finding new ways to make your hobbies and passions work for you. Thank you, and we'll catch you in the next episode.